Welcome to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. We just had an amazing match that we are about to break down. I'm Alicia Jay, and normally I'm here with Nicole Moss, but she's a little under the weather today, sending her all the well wishes. But we have such an amazing person. I've had the pleasure of meeting her before. Former Texas volleyball and national champion, for sure, and pro player Logan Eggleston. Okay, throw it up.
Have to. You got to. Hook 'em horns.
So she actually was just at the NCAA championship match, which was amazing. But before we get into this, I just have a little housekeeping. Make sure that you are connected with us because you're going to get alerts for the shows like we're having today, this live show that is on YouTube. And thank you for everyone who's joining. Right here, you can see all the ways that you can connect with us. And we're actually going to put up a QR code right now where you can scan that and get everything that you need to know on how to subscribe, how to listen. Anywhere that there's a podcast, we're on there as well. So if you don't feel like watching, you definitely have every single way that you can listen to We Need to Talk Now, whether it be on podcast or, seeing our pretty faces as we're doing today. Logan, I just want to say that match was phenomenal. And you are actually joining us from a Panera. So this is how committed you are to breaking this down.
I am. It was just such an exciting game. I had to stop at the nearest Panera so we could talk about it.
Listen, and get a little snack there too. I'm not mad at that either. Right. But let's talk about this match. What a match. It literally gave everything that it needed to give, with Penn State taking the first two sets. And of course, Penn State went on to win it all. But we're going to give you a little breakdown of everything that occurred because it was a lot. I was tired watching from my couch. Okay.
Imagine me. I was there.
Man. And we'll get into that too. But, the whole, when you look at the ending, it really doesn't tell the whole story because there were so many ups and downs. And Louisville put in a big fight. They really, really did. But in that first set, they lost by 2 points to go into that second set. And then the second set was insanity. Louisville battling back from down 19-13 to pull within one at 19-18, and then down 24-19. I mean, it's a roller coaster even talking about it, let alone seeing it in that set before they rattled off 5 straight points to tie it at 24 points apiece. Louisville held off 10 set points, which is just crazy, from Penn State before eventually taking the marathon of a set 34-32. And that's 66 total points scored, which is the most in a single set in NCAA championship match, rather. So listen, I mean, when you're in there, let's just talk about that. You're watching that set. What were you feeling, especially being a player? Like, what are you feeling watching that?
I felt stressed, first of all, because it was like every point you didn't know who it was going to. And I think the coolest thing about that point in the game, the crowd was so into it. We're in Louisville, so their fans are up on their feet. It's probably the loudest I heard the entire game because it was going back and forth. But as a former player, I definitely felt a little bit stressed. I felt, it's like, who's going to take this point? Like, who's going to finally overcome and, like, just put this game away? But it was fun. You'd love to see teams compete and come back from really, Louisville is down by a lot. They made it all the way back to win that set. So it's really fun to see teams battle back, not get complacent and realize that every point matters. They can stay in games like that.
Absolutely. And I was, on social, obviously, during this. And I mean, you have people like Candace Parker saying, yo, this is crazy. Like, I cannot believe what is happening. The whole internet was going wild, as they should, because it was just a battle. It was a battle. And it was really so beautiful to see the competitiveness. And with obviously the Natty on the line, like, you're going to be competitive. But it was such a beautiful set to see. And then Penn State would come out firing in the third set and didn't look back, to be honest with you, taking the final 2 sets to win their 8th national championship. Jess Mruzik was named the most outstanding player, as she should have, of the championship match. And also it's important to note that the 8th championship is second to Stanford, I believe, that has 9. So, I mean, just huge on all levels. we talked about Jess a little bit, saying that she was the outstanding player of the game. What are your thoughts on her play? Because when I tell you she was a beast out there, I mean, she made me stand up a couple times.
Oh, same. Yeah. I mean, she's a player that can do it all. And I think the best part about her game is her leadership and her ability just to shake off the last point. Like, she made it an error here or there, but it was immediately on to the next play. And she rallied her team behind her and just kind of put them on her back and carried them, which that's what you need from seniors. But she has just such a great attitude, such a great court presence, and she's super fun to watch. So I'm happy for her. I know that Penn State's gone through a lot this season, and just to see them battle and rally around, their coach, their seniors, everything, it's so beautiful to see. It's like the perfect storybook ending to their great season.
It definitely is. And there's a lot of reasons for them to play the way that they did. And we'll get into those in a little bit. But I want to give props to Louisville for literally battling in that game, or in that match, I should say. I felt bad, though, I'm not going to lie, for Anna DeBeer, because to see her on the sideline, knowing that she wanted to be, battling out there as well, she stayed a fifth season to play in that national championship. That was her goal, especially being from Louisville. So what are your thoughts on her and the contribution she had this year, and just, that last game and not having her in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Louisville needed her a little bit. She's a leader on this team, both, offensively, but also just her presence. She brings so much calmness to the court, and she can, again, do everything. It's hard to see her on the bench. She was doing all she could with giving energy, talking to her teammates during timeouts, but it always sucks to see that be the end of her career. Obviously, she's going to have an amazing professional career and go on to do so many great things, but I don't know. I hope she doesn't kind of dwell in that moment, that last game, because she's done so many amazing things in her career, and she's really helped put Louisville on the map in the volleyball world.
She really has. And I just felt for her the whole time, because you just saw it in her face. Like, I don't care if I'm injured. I want to go out there and I want to help my team. But she did. I don't want her to negate all of the work that she's put in and all of the success that she's had, and such a phenomenal player. It's just unfortunate that had to happen the way that it did. And you did see that they missed her out there, obviously. So, but, going into this match, we knew that history was going to be made, because it marks the first time that since the NCAA tournament began in volleyball in 1981, that a woman has won a title as a head coach. And I am so overjoyed to see that. I think it is so phenomenal. What are your thoughts on that? On one hand, I'm excited about it, and I think it's amazing, which it is. But I think two things can be true at the same time, where how has it taken this long?
That's what I'm saying. We're in 2024. This is the first time. It's kind of wild, because there are so many qualified and amazing female coaches across the country. And so for this to be the first year that one has taken home the title, it's kind of crazy to think about. But it just kind of opens the doors. It shows that women are very capable of being obviously great players, but turning into great coaches and leading teams to championships. So I think this just opens the doors for so many more women to get into the coaching field and kind of strive to continue what the Penn State coach did tonight.
How specifically do you think that it does open the door? And what do you think needs to happen, or what do you think needs to happen rather, for the doors just to swing open wide for women coaches in volleyball?
I mean, I think it starts from the top. I think administrators need to start hiring more women, and I think it also, male coaches in the field need to start giving female coaches opportunities to be assistants, to work their way up. I think it kind of starts with men in the field helping create those opportunities. And then once women have those opportunities, they take it and they run with it and they succeed. That's what we do.
I know that's right.
That's what we do.
I know that's right.
I think it's just, we have to provide more opportunities and hire more women and give them time to build programs. And we're going to see a lot more championships from female coaches in the next few years, hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we just saw it tonight, and it can be done, and it should have been done a lot sooner, but we're happy that it is being done and that strides are being made. Overall, in volleyball, we've had this boom in women's sports. It's been such a beautiful thing to see, especially someone who played when there wasn't such a boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Dating myself a little bit here, but to see it happen is such a beautiful thing. What do you think still needs to happen in volleyball to kind of create even a bigger boom, the bigger boom that it deserves?
Yeah, I mean, I think just more access to the sport on TV, like in media, things like that. I think once people are introduced to the sport of volleyball, they fall in love. They're obsessed. They love the speed of the game and just, how some things always happen. There's so much excitement and emotion and personality in the game. So I think just there needs to be more access to it, more players on TV, more kind of like inside of like what our lives are like, what our practices are like, what we go through to perform at a high level. I think that's what's next. And I think there are a lot of people that are committed to that and are really striving to make that happen and make that access more prevalent for more people. So the steps are being taken. So I'm excited to see where the sport is in the next few years.
And when we talk about the steps that are being taken and the support, NIL is obviously a big part of this conversation. Do you feel like it is that people support NIL in the volleyball space like they do other sports?
I do. I think we're getting there. I think it's been really cool to see this year. For example, Madison Skinner, she's played volleyball at the University of Texas. Hook 'em. Gotta support my girls. But she was in 2 national commercials this year, which was really cool to see. First of all, a female athlete, but specifically a volleyball player recognized at that level nationally. And so, yeah, I think we're all supportive of it. It just gets the sport in more households, and we're only going to grow from there. So I think, the volleyball community, we back NIL. We love it. We love how much exposure it's giving our sport and so many of our great athletes. And so I want to see more of it.
Definitely. And I know we will. Like, it's already happening, right? We've seen the steps happen. It's already happening. And I really want, for all women's sports, for a more even playing field in that too, So you talk about support, and one story that, obviously stood out to me within this whole run for the Natty is that Katie Schumacher, I'm sorry. Yes, I was right. Sorry. In my brain, that didn't sound right. Coach Katie, I need to do it with coach first. Okay. Coach Katie Schumacher-Cauley was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And she has been battling that. And that's one of the, I guess, things that people are saying, led Penn State to winning this championship. And how could it not, right? We have a coach who is doing everything to get you to this Natty, and she does, but all the while she is battling cancer. As a matter of fact, there was a quote from Trammell that said, I'm not doing it specifically, I don't have it word for word, but basically she was saying that, coach, we are going to do what we need to do for coach on the floor so that she can do what she needs to do off the floor in her battle. When you look at this story and you look at what they've done, how much of an inspiration is coach for doing this? I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Such an inspiration. And she does it with such grace. Like, she talks about how she doesn't want to burden other people with what's going on. She wants to show up for her team and do right by them. And that's women, like we show up and we get the job done regardless of what's happening in our lives. And so to see her succeed at this high of a level with what she's been battling all year, it's just incredible. And, I think the team talked a lot about too, how they were playing for something bigger than themselves. It wasn't just about representing Penn State or, representing their personal careers. It was about playing for something so much bigger, and the love they have for their coach is just undeniable. And it was just a beautiful season by them, and just beautiful to see how it all came together at the end.
Yeah, and coach herself said, being around this team and the staff is when I feel the most normal. She said, for me, being at practice and in the gym with them makes it a whole lot easier. I'm getting a little emotional while I'm reading this because I just can't even imagine, going through that amidst all of this and coming out victorious in both places, because she's fighting a battle in 2 areas. Coach Danny, I'm sorry, the Louisville coach said that I cannot imagine going through a season, going through chemotherapy, and what that must have been like. She hasn't missed a practice all year, and that makes it even more incredible to me that she's been able to do that. I mean, I hate to say it's inspiring because I wish she wasn't going through this, but the fact that she is going through this and doing it in the way that she has, and the team stepping up and battling for her is really just a phenomenal thing to see.
It is. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the sport of volleyball is, the sport itself is you can't win a game by yourself. You can't do it alone. And I think the team took that aspect of volleyball and brought it into so much more. Like, she can't battle this alone. So again, they made practice normal for her. They wanted her to show up over there every day. They were there for her. She wanted to show up every day. They didn't want her to battle alone. And I think that's just the most beautiful part of it. And you can really see the team atmosphere of Penn State. Like, they're such a family, as are so many teams in the NCAA, but they just really rallied around each other. They loved each other. And so it's just beautiful to see it in such happiness.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we'll definitely be keeping tabs on her story as she continues to battle. She won the national championship, but she also has another battle that she's fighting. So we'll definitely continue to update everybody on how she is doing. You talked about atmosphere, and I just wanted to, you were in a sold out crowd. It was an attendance record. What was it like being there and just being, I think you were at the semifinals too. Like, how was that as well?
It was incredible. I mean, just to see people show up for this sport and love it and be into it and be engaged and standing and cheering and being loud, it's just beautiful to see. When I started in college in 2018, there were people there, there were fans there, but just to see the growth from then to now is phenomenal. And it just makes me excited for what's next. And I think the other cool part is just seeing the amount of young girls there who are just so inspired by the players on the court. They know them by name. They're, crying tears, getting to meet some of these players. And it's so cool to see the positive impact that the players are making on these young individuals who are, one day going to be playing in their shoes. Volleyball is such a beautiful community, and just seeing the fans really show up and show out for this sport is incredible.
Man, it is incredible. I mean, every single kind of attendance record that is set, and you even see last night we saw Juju give her shoes to a young fan, and she was just like losing it after that amazing game versus UConn. I mean, just every time you see it, it really is true. If you can see her, you can be her. Yeah. And it's happening across the board in all sports, and it is a beautiful thing to see. For sure. And now I want to ask you some questions about what your next moves are and what you're doing. But before that, let's wrap up this amazing Natty that we just saw with talking about who the player of the game was for us, or the player of the match was for us. Who was it for you?
Oh, I mean, I think Jess Mruzik is the player of the match for me. She took over. This is her senior year. She, took the team under her wing and kind of did it herself. She was like, we're winning this. We're gonna do it one way or the other. And I think that just kind of sums up her as a player. She's super selfless. She gives the others. She does whatever she can to help the team. And she did that tonight, and it really, really worked in their favor.
I couldn't agree more. I would say the same exact thing, but I also want to give an honorable mention in the highest of ways to Cameron Hanna, because I'm telling you, I mean, I was mesmerized by her play. Phenomenal on every level. There was a time, especially in that first set, that I would say, Penn State was kind of, there was, I wouldn't say the energy was there, but she really did a lot in that first set to set everything off. No pun intended. So literally, I definitely wanted to mention her. I couldn't go through this pod without mentioning her for sure. And everybody listening, make sure you comment below with your player of the national championship, because I'm sure everybody had there was a lot of players that were contributing and you had your eyes on them. So, go ahead and comment below, because we want to see what you thought too. But listen, Logan, you are going to be playing in the League One volleyball, I guess the league. So you're playing in that. It's going to be in Austin, which love Austin, obviously, and you love it for many, many reasons.
Yes.
What are you looking most forward to playing in that league?
Man, so many things. I think first and foremost is just getting to play in front of the Austin community again. That fan base and that community built me up through college and really helped shape me into who I am. And so just getting to come back and represent that city at the highest level playing volleyball is super exciting to me. Also getting to play in front of, friends and family and just all the people who, again, have watched me grow up playing this sport and have helped me and kind of paved the way for me. It's super exciting. And I think another thing I'm excited about is to kind of set the tone for what American professional volleyball is. I think there's so many young girls that don't get to see the professional level. They a lot of times have to go overseas. And so now to get to kind of inspire the next generation to strive to play professionally and to strive to reach this new level that they hadn't seen before is what I'm really, really excited about.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned that Texas, Austin, really cultivated you as a person. And I read an article and you talked specifically about being a Black woman. In what ways did, the city and the state help you become, who you are today?
Yeah, I mean, the people I met there, I met so many amazing people who allowed me to be my authentic self. I grew so much as a confident young Black woman and was kind of able to find my voice and find things I was passionate about. I think it was completely the people. I had so many great professors and administrators and people who just wanted to help guide me in my journey of using my voice and finding power in my voice. And I also had just amazing teammates and friends who were other Black women who inspired me and who I always looked up to. And so I don't know, just the people in Austin, the people at Texas are the reason I am who I am today. And I hope to kind of be that person for someone else in the future.
Absolutely love it. I don't even think I have another question for you because that just summarized everything, like who you are, where you've come from, where you're going. And I'm just so excited to see it. I'm excited for this league. I'm excited for what it means for volleyball. And like you said, for just women out there, the representation of it. And so, thank you so much for joining us because listen, you just came from an amazing, amazing game. And for you to just like pull over and do this at a Panera, I really, really appreciate it on all levels.
No, thank you for doing this. It's exciting to talk about volleyball always, and especially on a night like tonight where history was made, and there's so much more history to be made. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and I appreciate all you guys are doing to help continue to push the needle forward.
Same. I mean, I could say the same for you. You've been doing it, you are doing it, and I just can't wait to see what you do in this new league and beyond. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everybody out there for tuning in. If you did not see this match, just go back and watch it. Go back and watch it because it was so exciting. It was amazing to watch, amazing to see just the history that was made. And looking forward to all the history that will be made in volleyball and women's sports in general. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your comments. And make sure you subscribe and connect with us so that you can get all of these episodes right when they happen, right here on We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T.